What's up, you guys? Okay, first off, I'm going to start off with this. I'm going to be repairing a Enerpac Ram. I'll give you the model in a second. But to all my regular subscribers, I guess, or subscribers that watch my funny content, this is probably not for you. This is a repair video. I've decided I'm going to try to do some more of these because the funny stuff doesn't pay Daddy's bills. So to make Daddy money, I'm going to have to do repair stuff, because pretty much the only thing that gets most of my views and stuff are repair videos. Funny stuff is fun to make, and I'm hoping that works out someday. But right now, apparently most people want to see repair stuff from an old fart. So that's what this video is going to be, so you can click off it if you don't want to watch this. Anyway, but you're welcome to add I'd appreciate it, you know, if you want to watch this crap. But I'm going to be repairing an Enerpac RC308, 30-ton Ram with an 8-inch stroke. Spring return. It's one-way cylinder Ram. I'm going to just show you how to break it down, repair it. I've got a kit on ordered right now. It should be supposed to be in here today, so right now I'm just going to break it down, and then I'll show you putting the kit in there when I get it. And of course, it'll all just look like one thing with the magic of editing. And so anyway, so let's get started on this thing, because I know the people that are here to watch this don't want all this bull crap. So be sure and like, subscribe, hit the bell, ding ding ding, all that good junk. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, first thing we're going to go over is the tools that you're going to need. You're going to need a hammer, a punch, and a couple of 1/4-inch bolts if you don't have a spanner wrench. Okay, a 1-inch wrench, one screwdriver, fairly small, then another small, very small screwdriver with, you know, very small head on it. You're going to need a ratchet or a small impact or something with a 1/2-inch deep socket on it. Like I said, a spanner wrench and a pick of some sort. That's your tools. All right, first thing I usually do is take out the quick coupler. It's not necessary to take it out on this Ram, but some of them it's necessary because that's the way to unhook the spring. On this one, you don't. So I just take it out of the way to drain the oil, and to if for some reason I drop this Ram or something, I don't have the tendency to break off the coupler, so I don't want to break off the coupler. Remove that. There's usually going to be oil in here. I've already taken this apart one time, but I thought I'd make a video. But anyway, it's going to have some oil in there. Drain out whatever oil you can. Most of the oils aren't going to come out right now, but it'll get some of it out. Anyway, after you take that out, you're going to come up here to the top. Okay, now here, sometimes it'll have a metal piece up here, cap. They call it a saddle. Most time it just snaps in. So anyway, you'll pull it out. This one didn't have one, so anyway, it just pulls out generally. Okay, down inside here, there's a cap nut down inside there. You're going to take the 1/2-inch ratchet and socket and remove that. I already had this apart, so I've kind of just left everything kind of loose on it. So, but it generally comes off pretty easy. Anyway, it's just a little deal like that. And then inside there, you'll see a screw with a slot, and that's the spring tensioner. So what you're going to do then is you're going to take your bigger screwdriver and turn it clockwise. And you're going to screw it down. It's just easier with a bigger screwdriver than the little one on this whole thing. But I mean, once it gets, I'll show you in a second. It's hard to do when I'm holding the camera too, but screw it down to where about as far as you can get it with this screwdriver, which will be a little about flush, whatever. Sorry about the lighting. It's not perfect in here, but I'm trying to, this is not real important anyway as far as showing you that I'm just screwing the screw in. Like I said, once you get it screwed down about as far as you can with that, then you're going to take the smaller screwdriver that fits down inside there easier and continue screwing it down about a 1/2 inch. You don't want to screw it too far because then the whole thing will come out and then you got to try to redo it. I mean, you can do it, but it's just easier to do it like this. This will take all the tension off the spring. Anyway, get it down to about half inch or so. There's a copper washer in here. It'll come with a kit or however you're going to do it, but you can go ahead and take that out. I'm going to have to use 2 hands for that. But that little deal right there, the little copper washer, that's what seals it underneath that cap nut. Okay, you've got that unscrewed. Now you're going to want to take it and put it in a vise. Or you can probably do this on a workbench if possible. I like to tilt it up like so. Make sure you don't drop it on your foot. And tighten your vise up nice and tight so you don't lose the thing. Now this is where you're going to take it. Usually it's, you got to knock it loose. Sometimes they come easy, sometimes they're hard, but this one was very easy coming apart. I've just barely tightened it up. Anyway, you get it to where it's spinning fairly easy. Now, I use a spanner wrench to unscrew that with. Okay, if you don't have a spanner wrench, because there's about 1 inch of threads on this thing, you can just take you a couple of 1/4 inch bolts. You can drive 5/16 ones in there. You have to knock them in there. Of course, you have to pull them back out again. So I just took some. They fit in there kind of loose, but anyway, take you some kind of thing. I can just show you with this punch right here. You're going to take the two of them, hold them, and once you kind of get it going, you can just spin it out. You may lose them every once in a while, but it's a lot easier than trying to use a punch or whatever. Generally, once you get it so far, you can just probably use your hand, but anyway, just keep screwing it out like that till you can basically screw it with your hand. Okay, now it's loose. So now what you're going to do is pull it out. Sometimes on this other end down here, if it has mushroomed out down at the other end a little bit from the weight or whatever, you will have to either try to beat it through or try to jack the thing up and either take a grinder or something and try to, or a file, and try to clean up that edge. I'll show you when I pull it out where it's at. But this one wasn't like that, so it just pulls out pretty easy. You can push it from the down this end. You can kind of push it and pull it at the same time, and the whole thing will come out like so. If you want to, you can take this out of your vise. I'm going to do it right now because I'm waiting on a kit to come in, and I've got some other stuff to work on. So you can, and I don't want to drop it on my foot. Now you can just take this thing, lay it down on its side, lay it down, and pull this out as far as you can, and you can see there's a spring in there, and it's got a roll pin that goes through it right here. And if you have it screwed down far enough, you can just take it, pull it up, and twist it, and take it off without having to knock that roll pin out. That's roll pin in there if you can see it. Okay, so now you got this out. Okay, now you've got the seal up here. That is your main seal that does all the sealing in this ram. This is a one-way ram. It's just going to have generally one cup on them. That's the way most rams are. Anyway, it's got a little snap ring on here. It's not a spiral one, but it's kind of like a spiral one. But anyway, you take your pick or a little small screwdriver, and you just pry it off. It has a little place on it where you can get it started from. You can see that. Okay. Now you take the seal off. just take something and get pried loose. Sometimes they'll fall apart in pieces. This one hasn't completely blowed, but it has split, as you can see, and that's what's causing it to leak. Now you've got a little washer, and then you've got these two brass halves, or bronze halves, or whatever. You can take them off, and now is a good time when I was telling you about, if once you get the thing out, and say it was hard coming out, this end down here, like I said, it'll sometimes mushroom down here around the edge from weight pushing on it. Like I said, once you get it out, now's a good time to clean it up the rest of the way. So either take a file or whatever you got, sand it, file it, sand it, get it nice and smooth to where it will fit through the other end of your ram real easy. Okay, so you got all that apart. Now, on the end here of the nut, there is a big O-ring and supposed to be a backup washer that goes behind there. I'll show you what that is when I show you what the kit with the seals. It's basically a backup behind the O-ring. It's kind of a flat, solid piece. Anyway, this one was all in pieces. It just fell all to pieces, just rotted. So anyway, get that out of your way. The only other seal in this thing, there is a wiper seal right here. All you're going to do with that is sometimes it'll just fall apart. You have to pick it out, make sure you get all the pieces out. This one was already cracked or whatever. Anyway, you just pry it out like that, and that's the only seal in there. You don't have to remove this nut. This is another guide or nut or whatever on this end. Most rams, that's how you take them apart. You have to take this out, disconnect the
friggin' camera.
And you got to disconnect the screw, and I'll make sure that if I get another one of those rams. But anyway, you don't have to take that out. Just remove the wiper. There's no other seal up there, so all it is just to keep dirt and dust from getting back in your ram. So anyway, that is disassembled, and I'm gonna clean it up and wait for the kit to come in, and I don't know
why I'm talking like that.
So I will wait. I'm gonna wait for the kit. We'll be here in a little bit, and I'm gonna clean this thing up and get it ready to put back together, and I'll show you that when I get back. Okay, I'm back. As you can tell, I've had to undress a little bit. Actually, change hats, because here where I'm at, Louisiana, you basically
may be freezing and having to wear 10 layers of clothes and a coat at 8 o'clock. By 9 o'clock, you're stripping down to the one layer, and then by 10 o'clock, you're stripping down to another layer until basically you're not wearing nothing by noon.
Oh yeah, I got my seals in. I don't know, I was saying a kit. That's what y'all will probably have to get. I usually order the seals from a seal place because I know what I'm getting. I know what they are, and other things like the copper, little brass, little ring and stuff. I order those in bulk and stuff. So I just get the stuff like that. It's cheaper, and I know what I'm doing. But if you're doing it, you'll have to probably get a kit because you're just do-it-yourselfers. So you don't do this for a living. But anyway, so the first thing, like I said, here's the seals I've got in. It's poly seal. That's what you'll have an O-ring and a backup and a wiper. And sorry about this glare. It's coming through the door. I can't do nothing about it. And a copper ring. If you order a kit, it'll come with all that. Sometimes it comes with this. Usually it'll come with a new snap ring and the copper washer, and that's about it. And you'll pay about 3 or 4 times more than what I'm probably paying. Maybe not quite that much, but anyway. So like I said, first thing we're going to do is just go ahead and pop this wiper in. We're going to wipe, okay. Basically goes one way. There's a lip, and then there's a flat side. The flat side is going to go facing down. If you can see that, kind of like that. Pop it in the groove, okay? And like I said, clean all this stuff up real good. This one had a bunch of crud in it. This is your backup ring. Comes with. It's just flat, both sides. Put it on first, in the groove. And make sure it goes all the way down. So that the backup will be towards the threads. Okay, then the O-ring goes on next, in front of the backup. Okay, so then we're going to do the ram, and you're going to take these two pieces here. Okay, they got a bevel on one side, and it's flat on the other. The bevel is going to go down like that, facing this way. The reason you do that is because the top gland up here is beveled too, so that the bevel will hit against that bevel. But you want a good flat back. If you turn it this way, if you put it like that, as you can see, this will overhang it, and it will just smash it all to pieces and below the seal, and
you'll have a disaster.
So don't do that. So put it on there like that, and then this goes next. Don't matter which side it's on, it's most of the same on both sides. That will go on next. Then your U-cup. It's U-shaped because it's U-shaped in the center here. It's flat on one side and U-shaped on the other. The flat side always goes against the backing. The U side always faces the pressure. So the pressure is coming this way, down, because this is upside down right now. But anyway, it just goes on there and snaps into place. Not snaps into place, but pushes it. Make sure you get down far enough to put your retainer on. Like so. So you've got that set up right there. Back, batch washer, seal, snap ring. Okay, now we're going to slap this back in the vise. Go ahead and tilt it up if you want to. Tighten it up so it don't fall on your foot and break your toes. Alrighty. Now, what I like to do here, like I said, you're going to be going back kind of the same way you did. You just take this thing and slide it in there like so, and then turn it to where it hooks. If you can see that. Okay. Now, you're going to want to like grease up inside here, grease up your seal and your O-ring area. Put a little bit of light grease on all that so that it makes it go in together easier. I a lot of times just use Vaseline. It's thin and light and it lubes up good, but just like I said, just rub it all over your seal area to help make it go together easier. Put some up inside the cylinder up here. Maybe easier to let it down like this while you're putting it together. From there, you're going to just take this, make sure you hold some tension on the spring area here. I tell you what, I'm going to tell you something. Another little trick to do so you don't have to worry about that is to lay this thing down like so. Go ahead and take your screwdriver, your little screwdriver, and insert it up in the hole and turn it counterclockwise now. So as you're doing so, it will tighten that spring up a little ways. You don't have to do it all the way. Basically what you're doing is just so it doesn't want to fall out of the unhook while you're putting it together back there. So put it together. Like I said, now it won't come out. So you don't have to worry about it falling out. Lay this inside cylinder, and then you're going to push it up in there a ways. Should go on up in there pretty easy. Then you're going to take your other hand down here, stick your fingers up in there, and as you're pushing the other end in, you're going to have to kind of guide it into that guide up in there. You can see what I'm talking about, but see it guided up there, and it's up against the wiper now. And now, back here, your threads are up here flush. So now you're just going to get this thing and start screwing it in. As it's screwing in, it'll go past the wiper. Maybe a little tight because you got the O-ring and stuff on there, new O-ring. And I'm going to change the angle here a little bit again. If you want to, it's easier for me anyway to re-tilt this up.
Tighten it up again so it don't fall on your foot and break your toes.
Tighten it back down using either the bolts that I was telling you about at the beginning or a spanner wrench. Get it tight with that. Take your punch and hammer, give it a few whacks. So that it doesn't screw on you. Now you can take it back out of your vise. Go ahead and continue tight, screwing counterclockwise on the screw. Counterclockwise. Got to set this down. I can't do it with one hand. Counterclockwise until it won't screw any further. The spring will be all the way tightened at that time, and the screw will be sticking up about a 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. Tighten it up snug, but you don't want to tighten it too tight where you damage the little slot there. Anyway, then you're going to take your new little washer, the new one, and the best way to do this, so you ain't got to fart around forever, is to take it, put it through something that's pointed, like this, through the hole, that way, or through the screwdriver. You can take this with your screwdriver if you want to. I'm going to go with that one. I'll use my smaller one. Just put your screwdriver through the hole, and then stick it into the slot again, and let your little washer fall back over the little screw as so. You got to take your little cap nut. You only go one way. It's only got threads one way. The easiest way I found to do this, take you a magnet, like so, stick it to the magnet. Okay, and you stick it over and you can start screwing it down. You can do this by hand, but a good strong magnet, you can screw it down 2 or 3 threads and just pull it off. And that one started. Now you can take your socket and screw it back down to where you can't screw it no more by hand, and then put your ratchet and tighten it up a little bit. Let's see. You can't tighten it too much because the ram will start to turn on you. What you have to do at that point is when you go to test it or run it up, after you run it up an inch or so, a couple inches or whatever, what I do is I clamp the ram into the vise with some soft jaws, which are something like this, aluminum or whatever. You clamp the ram You may have to get 2 people to help you do that, but you run it up a little ways, clamp it in the soft jaws, and then you'll tighten it on up. Not super tight. It doesn't have to be super tight, but you know, I don't know, 30 foot-pounds, something like that. I don't know what it is, somewhere like that. Just tighten it where it's good stuck. Like I said, don't want to tighten it super tight. If you go to check and it's leaking out through the threads up here, then you just know to tighten it up a little bit more. But anyway, then like I said, then you just you put your coupler back on there. Well, I was going to tell you that it ain't going to come in a kit, but they do have an O-ring inside the coupler, and you just take it and pry it out. A lot of times they're bad, or they're brittle, they're falling apart, and they use a certain type of seal. But over the years, I've just used regular O-rings. They may not quite last quite as long as one of these. Maybe these are made out of I don't know what that material is, but to me, it just seems like a regular O-ring lasts. It'll last for years and years, you know. And but there's basically 2 sizes on most quick couplers. One's either a 210 O-ring, and one's I believe a 116 O-ring. This one should be a 116 O-ring, and it's just a regular O-ring. Anyway, and you put it back into the coupler groove. Make sure it's clean. Like I said, some couplers will have a fatter O-ring, and it's usually a 210 O-ring. There's difference. There's some difference. There's some imports and stuff, but these are basically Enerpac OTC Power Team quick couplers, and that's what they usually have in all their stuff. So then you're going to want to put some pipe tape on this thing, and I think most of you know how to do that. Then you're going to screw your coupler back in. And tighten her up. Believe me, I see people all the time. I take these couplers out all the time, out of air tools, all kinds of crap. And what picture looks like crap in here. But anyway, people don't put pipe tape on them or some kind of dope or something. And to do that, you got to, and of course, this is 10,000 psi, so they'll leak. So they will tighten the little piss out of this thing so tight to where you can hardly get them out. A lot of times people just break them off because they're so tight. Whereas if you'll just put some pipe tape or some pipe dope on them, some Teflon or whatever, you don't have to tighten them near as tight. You can see I didn't tighten it all that tight. You know, just wrench tight, and it won't leak. I guarantee you 100% it will not leak. Whereas if you don't put anything on there, the only way you're going to get to stop leaking is to tighten it so freaking tight that you will probably break it off the next time you go to take it out. And I don't know why people do that, but I guess that's what people do. So anyway, now, like I said, you've got it all put back together, and basically you're done. So like I said, I'm going to hook it up and test it, and I'm going to run this out. Like I said, I'll run this out a little ways, the ram out. Just hook it up to your porta power, your pump, whatever. Run it out 3 or 4 or 5 inches, whatever. And you can. There's other tools that you can hold it with. I've got a strap tool like this. It's rubber, and you can get it on there and hold it too. Have somebody do it, hold it, and while the other person tighten it up. It's kind of a hassle, but it will work pretty good. It still kind of wants to slip, but you can get it pretty tight. With that, I found the best way to do it. Take these old soft jaws I had made out of aluminum, put them in the vise, run it up a little ways, and clamp it on the ram, tighten that thing up just a little bit more, and it won't leak. And I'm not going to sit here and go through the testing of it, but I hook it up to a porta power electric unit over here and run it out a few times and test it. Make sure it ain't leaking, and like I said, I'll tighten that up in the process, but I don't think there's no need of me telling all that, showing all that, so I'm not going to do it. So this video is probably y'all probably already clicked off of it by now anyway. So anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I said I'm going to try making more of these kind of videos. Like I said,
Daddy gotta eat, so, and I'm a big guy, so Daddy gotta eat, Daddy gonna eat when he ain't got no money coming from YouTube.
So, yeah, anyway, it just helps. It helps, you know, I'm trying to get enough to where I can, you know, maybe get better equipment, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So, anyway, but, anyway, it's just nice to start making some money off this. I make a little bit, but it's not very much, so, you know, and I know y'all don't care to hear all this crap. So, anyway, that's it for this video. Be sure and like, subscribe, hit the bell, goes ding, 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 and all that bull junk. And, like I said, watch my other videos if you want to. Like I said, a lot of the stuff is comedy stuff I do. I'm sure I'm going to keep doing that. It's just, I'm going to try to mix in some of these kind of videos with it because they're what get the views. I mean, I have a jack video that's over an hour long, and, you know, watch time on things like 30 or 40 minutes per view. So it gets a lot of watch time. I can have several ads on it. And so
Daddy can make more money.
Anyway, I'm out of here. Y'all be good. Take care. Bye-bye.